Hi, it's Cajun DIY Diva, and today we are making some stuffed eggplant. It's going to be a really healthy veggie version. I've got some ground turkey Italian sausage cooking. That's about ready. I'm going to turn the heat off on that. And what I have here is one eggplant. What I did was cut it in half, and I just rubbed some olive oil on the cut side and on the top, and I baked it for 350 degrees for about 30 minutes until, just bake it until it's soft like that, so that the eggplant insides will scoop out. And then what I have here, well, I've got my seasonings. I'm going to put just a little bit of breadcrumbs, and I'll probably put an egg to bind it. I'm going to have to pre-cook my filling and then let it cool if I add the egg. Got some basil, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, salt and pepper. Also have onion. That's a lot of onion. I like onion. If you don't like onion that much, don't put as much. That's like one large onion chopped. I have 2 large garlic cloves chopped. I have some green bell pepper. You can use any color bell pepper. That is about half of a medium-sized bell pepper. I've got like about a stalk and a half of celery chopped. You can also use fennel. Fennel makes a really nice flavor in this, so the bulb of the fennel. I've got 1 medium zucchini shredded. This is some shredded butternut squash, and this is like a couple of baby carrots shredded. That adds a nice sweetness to it. And so what I'm going to do is remove the turkey from the pan. Let me just set this down right here and get the spoon out. And I'm just going to take all of this ground turkey out now that it's browned nicely. Remove that from the pan, and in the same pan I'm going to saute my veggies. Try to get most of that turkey out, but it's okay if a little bit stays in. Okay, I have a little bit of olive oil here, so I'm going to pour that in and let that heat up again. And I'm going to turn the heat back on. And so now I'm going to get all my veggies. I'm going to do the onions first and let them caramelize a little bit. And then I'll add, just for about 1 minute. And then I'll start adding the rest of the veggies. It's okay if a little bit the other veggies go in right now, but I'm just looking to not have as much liquid in there right now, and just let the onions, there's a little bit of bell pepper snuck in there, but that's okay. I'm just going to let the onions brown a little bit. Of course, they're going to look brown. Some of them already look a little brown because they're getting stained from the turkey juices that are in there, but the reason I use the same pan is because I want that flavor that's already built up in the pan. So this is kind of an Italian, very popular Italian dish in New Orleans. They do a lot of stuffed eggplant, stuffed millet, better known as chayote squash, They do gugutsa, which is a long, skinny, kind of like an eggplant squash. And, you know, add savory ingredients to it. But this one has a little bit more veggies than the normal recipe. Of course, you can leave out the breadcrumbs. You do not have to put those in there. And you can also turn this into, put it into a casserole dish, or you can stuff it back into the eggplant shell after you remove the cooked eggplant out of the eggplant shell. I basically decide that when I pull it out, if the eggplant skin comes out all in one piece and it looks nice, then I might go ahead and use that. So these have gotten a little brown now, so now I'm going to add the rest of the veggies. So I'll put this down. I'm actually going to add the celery and the, let's see, I'm going to wait just a moment before I add the zucchini, because the zucchini has so much liquid, and I want the bell pepper and carrot and celery to brown a little bit also first. And I'll go ahead and add in the butternut squash too. And I like for there to be a little liquid before I add in the garlic, because I don't want the garlic to burn. Here's how that looks. And let's see, where did I put my spoon? I hid my spoon from myself. We're just gonna let that cook up. Let this saute a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, while the other veggies are sauteing, I'm gonna go ahead and try to scoop out. I actually need to get this started. I'm just gonna give it a little snip with my kitchen shears. And I'm just going to try to scoop out all the guts of this eggplant. I'm going to scoop it out. It's still a little hot. I usually like to try to let it cool. It just makes it easier to handle. And you see those seeds. You can leave out, you can kind of try to keep some of the seeds out. Sometimes the seeds are bitter, so you can try to keep some of those out when you get to this stage. But I think I'm going to leave them in here. This one seems to be working a little bit better. And I'll just scoop that out. It probably could have baked a little bit longer. I really like it when it scoops out and it's just like completely mushy when you scoop it out. But it's fine like this. And I'll just kind of give it a rough chop. And I'm going to add that in when I add the zucchini, which is in just a minute. I'm going to give my little veggies a stir just to make sure they're not burning. And I'll just continue to chop this. Just so you don't get a gigantic bite. Okay, now I'm going to add these veggies back in with the rest. Okay, here I go. I'm going to add my veggies in. The rest, I've got the zucchini, the eggplant, and the garlic. And that's just all going in together. And I'll cook it until the zucchini really releases a lot of its moisture. And I can kind of see a little change in the texture of the zucchini. And the texture and the color. So here's how this looks. Really, really yummy. It's going to start to smell really good once that garlic starts really releasing the heat. It's a little bit dry on the bottom, so I think I'm going to add just a little bit of water to the pan. Just enough to kind of wet the bottom. I'm going to turn my heat down just a tad. And it helps all that's stuck on the bottom release, kind of deglaze. You could use wine to do this. That would probably be delicious. Some red wine or white wine, either one, whatever you like. Okay, so now I think I'm going to go ahead and add back my meat to this mixture and let it cook. Just make sure the meat is totally cooked all the way through. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to add some seasonings. So I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of dried basil. If you are using fresh basil, use a whole teaspoon, or maybe even more. It's hard to use too much basil. Basil's so delicious. And I'm also going to do about half a teaspoon of this Italian seasoning. This has oregano, basil, thyme. I'm also going to give it a little shake of garlic powder. I'm going to do some salt. I love this pink Himalayan salt. It's really good for you and a little lower in sodium than just a regular table salt. And now some cracked black pepper. Okay, so now I'm just going to stir it, and I think it might need a little bit more water. Just a touch. You don't want it watery. And here's how it looks with all the seasonings. And I'm just going to cook this for just like 1 or 2 more minutes, and this will be done. Then I'm going to add probably about just a little bit of breadcrumbs, maybe like 2 tablespoons, and I will add, once it completely cools, I'm going to add 1 beaten egg to it, and that will bind the stuffing together. Just make it a little more solid. You can add more breadcrumbs if you are not going low carb. You can certainly add more, and a good dried Italian breadcrumb would be delicious in this. So I'm going to come back once this is all nice and cool, and I'm going to add the egg to it and the breadcrumbs, and then we will stuff them. Okay, so my filling has cooled, and I decided I wanted a little extra flavor, so I added about a 1/4 cup of feta cheese that's crumbled. And now I am going to add my egg. And just a little bit of breadcrumbs. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And that's all I'm going to put. And now I'm just going to stir it up really well. And get that egg incorporated throughout the entire thing, and the breadcrumbs throughout the entire dish. Now I'm also going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees, and because I put this raw egg in there, I'm going to bake this for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's cooked all the way through. And here is my eggplant shells. So I am going to now take some of my stuffing and just pile it in back into the eggplant shells. Now you could do one per person, or you can cut them in half and serve a half of one per person with maybe some pasta on the side, some spaghetti, with a nice red sauce. Now, if you have leftovers, which I'm definitely going to have leftover stuffing, you can just pop it into a little casserole dish and bake it alongside, and just have it served extra on the side. But I think this is enough stuffing. Stick that back on there. And now you can use some, whatever kind of tomato sauce you like. I have some of my homemade veggie tomato sauce, which is really yummy, and I think I have a video for it, so I'll put a link for my really delicious veggie sauce. This sauce is great for getting veggies into kids, because they just love it, and you can see how its sauce is bright red. You really can't tell there's a bunch of veggies in there. Now, got that, and I'm just going to put some Parmesan cheese on top. So I have these Parmesan flakes that I'm just going to kind of break up, put them on top, and this is going into the oven, like I said, at 350 degrees, preheated oven, for 20 to 25 minutes until it's just really heated well. It'll cook the egg. The egg in there will cook really fast because it was at room temperature. And that's mainly all you want it to do, is to get hot, the cheese melt, it get all nice and bubbly, and then it will be ready. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so here's the finished dish. Isn't that beautiful? It's all bubbly and cheese is melted. I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of parsley on the side of the plate. This would be delicious, just served with a green salad with Italian dressing. Would be really yummy. Or you could do a little side of spaghetti with a nice red sauce. So you could use the same sauce that you put on top. So this is Cajun DIY Diva. I hope you like this recipe. And please click like, please subscribe to my channel. I have not only cooking videos, but travel videos and painting videos, craft videos. I do a little of this and that. So please subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.